It is not uncommon for anime characters to seem in big quotes like what they are not. In other words, viewers are often so-called catfished by feminine or masculine characters, later revealing themselves as the other sex. Feminine and masculine will forever throughout this short essay be air-quoted. Catfishing has its own toxic implications, but I do not have the brain cell capacity to dive into all those. Just look at Reddit posts. Right now, I have the interest of diving into Yoshihiro Togashi's work, Hunter x Hunter, and the importance of androgynous characters. Roll credits. Androgynous characters are very prevalent in the series. Those who at first glance cannot be discerned to be from either sex. Isn't that what androgynous means? According to Google, and Google knows everything, androgynous means partly male and partly female in appearance, an indeterminate sex. By whom? The viewer or themselves? The first character I would like to examine would be the eldest Zodiac sibling of Illumi. In the 1999 version of the anime adaptation, he had a very soft, feminine look and voice, more so than the 2011 anime. But we can infer from what Killua calls him, brother, and how he himself refers to all his siblings, himself included, as brothers, that he identifies as male. But his own androgynous look and self-perception directly ties to the youngest of the siblings, Kaluto. Kaluto sports fursolde, which is a style of kimono worn by young women in Japan. The way they purposely dress in this way, and at the same time, on the outside, accepting the term of brother, suggests an androgynous perception of self. In the narrative, Kaluto is viewed as the forgotten child, more so than Aluka, who was at least getting attention from having a dark continent creature who is also herself inside of her that is dangerous under the wrong hands and can have the power to do basically anything. Kaluto doesn't even have that. They want to belong somewhere, they being surprised at the bonds of the Phantom Troop, their jealousy of Aluka, all shows this inner turmoil and struggle to belong. All this being said is to have some groundwork to infer that Illumi, too, could be struggling with the same thing. But what it is with Togashi is that there are many options in which to perceive a character. Though there are many male characters portrayed as having feminine traits, what about the inverse? To talk about the inverse is to talk about history. The history of being androgynous in Japan. Throughout the 1800s and to the late 1900s, being androgynous was heavily prevalent within the performing arts. Stage plays, like the famous Takarazuka Revue found in 1887, where an all-female cast played both male and female roles. The Kabuki theater, which dates all the way back to the Edo period, remains all male, even to this day. Cross-dressing for males was not uncommon, although it was often seen as a form of entertainment. But nowadays, having feminine traits is coming a ways to being accepted as a form of self-expression. For the females having masculine qualities, it was often seen as a disguise to escape their trapped feminine selves and be free, although this was way back. The Takarazuka has been criticized for their portrayal of masculine women and how it might affect women off stage. Pito is a heavily discussed exemplary character of the androgynous. They have both feminine and masculine traits, and the confusion ensues. How Togashi doesn't specify so many characters' biological gender gives way to many, sometimes heated debates. And there are those on the other side that says, why does it matter what their genders are? Well, no, it does not matter. But yes, if Pito was canonically confirmed female, would that mean empowerism? If there are girls out there thinking Pito was female and they became inspired by them, is that valid? Is it worth it to say they were female? Well, if they were androgynous, wouldn't that mean both? To be sure, there are less girls in Hunter x Hunter having this androgynosity, but at least in appearance, there is Melody, and to a lesser extent, Biscuit. Melody is shown with androgynous appearance. Her attire robes is similar to that of Kuropka's. In the 2011 anime, she was even mistaken to be male by Kuropka. Oh, the audacity, Kuropka. We'll get to Kuropka. Biscuit has a masculine form, a form which she is not comfortable with, and thus over time, through her own want, she morphed her body to that of a more feminine small girl. Ultimately, it is about choice and who they want to be. But actually, the viewer does have a say on what gets across to them. As the final say, from art to viewer, I hereby give the verdict that Kuropka's androgynous appearance is empowering. Section 404, Kuropka. When I was researching for this video, yes, researching, I came across an essay for college titled Fetishization of Androgyny in Anime at the example of the 2012 TV adaptation of Hunter x Hunter. What caught my eye in the description was that the authors specified that they were going to analyze how androgynous characters are treated, notably Kuropka. Secondly, the essay was 16 pages long. Thirdly, I noticed the mistake of 2012 instead of 2011. Fourthly, I unfortunately could not read this article as I do not have a PayPal account. A money account was required for the 30-day free trial. Hashtag give me money so that I can analyze this 16-page essay in the future. Hashtag shameless. I'm sure because this was for college and it is a mere 16 pages long that it will have some very credible, reasonable, and arguable points. For the matter if Kuropka is fetishized in the anime and original source material, in my opinion, it is a resounding no. If it is about the fan base, then that is a different essay altogether. His treatment, I believe, is no different than how the other characters of similar androgynous appearances are treated. Now back to the wandering Kurta, my boy of the jungle, Kuropka. At first his appearance might seem like a case of anime catfish, but anime catfish is less subtle than this. He does not specify his preferred pronouns or gender or anything of the sort. The people around him do not mistake him for a girl, and he does not have the customary revelation that he is in fact a male. He acts not masculine or feminine, but as someone who cared too much about his community to let them go and cope healthily with his trauma. That's not good, kids. Don't do that. Is Kuropka easily angered? A common trope within the toxic masculinity portrayed in media is the guy with violent anger issues who will get revenge in the name of pride. Oh no, hear me out. Kuropka does have issues, anger issues in fact, but it only pertains to his murdered tribe. He himself is aware of the fact that he is not himself with regards to them and the spiders. But other than that, he is someone who deeply cares about his friends and laughs at the smallest things. He appreciates the normality of life, and when he has to deal with anything pertaining to death, he is still himself, but the himself that does not want to do this. But something is pushing him there. This something is hate that stems from love. His masculinity, remember the air quotes, his pride, his anger, his whole revenge schmick is seen as a negative, while his caring, nurturing side is always viewed in a warm light. His chains, synonymous with his imprisonment in hatred, chains this warm side. But that being said, and it can only be said in the humanist language possible, he is badass in robes, and I respect that. His androgynous, feminine appearance, all the while contrasted with the brutal fights, gives something which I have no word for. Donkey. He is a character who is intelligent, strong, determined, caring, and compassionate. It is not a contrast, but a combined force that works to break everything I've seen up to that point. It is not revolutionary, but something, just something, that can lead to something bigger.